Welcome to Solum 2.0 training video number 10. In this video, we're going to analyze the accounting module of the Solum 2.0 POR system. The accounting module has several sections found in the accounting menu. Notice we have the options for opening a cashier, adding float, closing the cashier, taking expenses out of the cashier, and then reviewing all the entries that have been made over a period of time, and also reviewing the customer accounts. Let's look at each of these sections. First of all, opening a cashier. At the beginning of each day, you will need to open a cashier. In this case, the primary cashier has already been opened, so we can't open it a second time. But let's continue on here to open this backup or secondary cashier. We simply type in the quantities of each of our sections. So maybe we've got 10 $50 bills, 50 $20 bills, 50 $10 bills, and so on. Now that we've entered the quantities that are in this cashier, we can click the button to open the drawer, to open it up as we add these quantities. Also, I didn't mention there's a use last close button, as oftentimes when you're beginning the day, you're going to use the same cash trays you took out the night before, and this would enter the value that was last closed in closing the cashier. But once we've entered the correct values of everything that is in this cash register at this time, then we click the Save button to save this opening of the cashier. Next is the Float button. The screen looks very much the same and works very much the same. If we're simply adding more money during the day to a cashier that's already been opened, we simply type the amount that we've added, and notice that it calculated that additional amount. Once we've added the values, we simply click the Save button once again. At the end of the day, or let's look at the expenses section. During the day, there may be certain expenses that we've paid out of the cash register. There's a few default ones that could have been casual labor, maybe travel, and this list can be added to in the Tools menu. So let's add in a little bit of labor that we paid out of the cash register for this day, and possibly some other expenses that we maybe bought lunch for the staff. We here once again can open the drawer in order to take the funds out to pay these expenses. And once we're done entering it all, we can save this change in what we've entered in the cash register. And then at the end of the day is when we use the close cashier function. It's much like the open and add float functions, where we simply enter what we have left in the cash register at the end of the day. So adding the quantities of what we have in the cash register, and then when we're done adding everything, we can click to open the drawer, and we can click to save the change we've made in closing that cash register. We also, in the accounting module, can look at the entries manager. Now, this is a tool only designed for administrators and supervisors, but it allows us to look at all the different things that happened in that cash register during that time period. In this case, it just has the current date time period. But we notice we can look to see when the cash registers were opened, when they were closed. We can see any discrepancies, and we can see exactly what uh, bills were in that cash register at that time. This is very helpful in finding errors that may have been made in the cash register transactions. We can actually edit these numbers if there were an error and then update the transaction at the bottom. The other part of the accounting module is the customer account management screens. In customer account management, we have information for each of our customers that are in here. There's the details screen, which basically gives us the address and phone number for that customer. Then we have the orders screen or button that opens up the orders. This looks much like our cashier screen, but in this case it's listing the orders that were put on account. If we want to now write a check to pay this order, we simply select that order and click the Pay Now button. Then we can enter a check number, or we can pay with cash from the cash tray as well. So in this case, we're going to pay this order with a check number 124. We see the amount here. We see the total for this check is $15.90. We write that check and we click Continue. We can now print a receipt that goes along with this check that we can mail or provide to that customer. And we've completed filling that out. Now we see that there is nothing owed to this customer, but we can still view other transactions that were previously made by showing all. So that is the review of the accounting systems. There's the open cashier screen, the add float screen, the close cashier screen, the expenses screen, entries manager, and customer account management screens, all making up the accounting module.